The U.S. Secretary of State is set for another trip to the Middle East as recent developments prompt fears of the war spreading. And an Olympic athlete convicted of murdering his girlfriend has been released from prison. The Morning Rundown starts now.
From the Straight Arrow News Studio, bringing the stories that matter to you from across the United States and around the world. This is the Morning Rundown.
Today is Friday, January 5th. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kara Rucker. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is set to begin a tour of the Middle East today as tensions mount in the region amid fears the war between Israel and Hamas could grow into a broader conflict. Blinken's fourth trip to the region in 3 months will see him visit 9 locations, including Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the West Bank, and Egypt. In Israel, Blinken is expected to press for the increase of humanitarian aid in Gaza, a shift in the Israeli army's operations, and efforts to release hostages taken by Hamas, including Americans. U.S. officials say Blinken will also be looking for ally support to defuse the situation in the Middle East before it escalates any further. Blinken's trip comes amid high-profile strikes in the region this week, the latest being a U.S. drone strike on the headquarters of an Iran-backed militia group in Iraq on Thursday, killing its commander, who U.S. officials say had been involved in attacks on American personnel. Earlier in the week, a drone strike in Beirut killed a top Hamas leader, with Lebanon officials attributing the strike to Israel. And 2 explosions in Iran targeting a memorial service for a former top general, killing more than 100 people, according to Iranian officials, with ISIS claiming responsibility for that attack. On Wednesday, the United States, along with a dozen other nations, issued a warning to Iran-backed Houthis to stop attacking commercial vessels in the Red Sea. Hours later, the Pentagon said an armed unmanned surface vessel came within a couple of miles of U.S. Navy and commercial ships in the Red Sea before detonating. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is suing 17 bus charter companies in response to tens of thousands of migrants being sent from Texas. The mayor is seeking $708 million to cover the cost of caring for the migrants. According to the lawsuit, since the beginning of Texas Governor Greg Abbott's Operation Lone Star, more than 33,000 migrants have been put on buses and sent to New York City. The suit cites a New York law that requires anyone who brings a person in need to the state to support them at their own expense. Adams said while New York is doing its part to manage the crisis, it cannot bear the cost of what he says are reckless political ploys. In response to the lawsuit, Abbott fired back, saying the lawsuit is baseless. A 6th grader was killed and 5 others were injured when a teenager opened fire inside an Iowa high school on Thursday. The school district has canceled classes as the community continues to cope with the tragedy. 4 students and an administrator, identified by district officials as the school's principal, were wounded. Police say the suspect, a 17-year-old student at the school, died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The shooting unfolded on the first day back from winter break during a breakfast program for middle and high school students. Investigators say the shooter was armed with a shotgun and handgun. They found improvised explosives at the school as well. Before the shooting, the suspect is said to have made several social media posts, including a TikTok video from the school's bathroom with the caption, "Now we wait." A motive is not yet known. Oscar Pistorius, the South African Olympian who was convicted of killing his girlfriend Reeva Steenkamp in 2013, has been released from prison. The televised trial for Pistorius, a double amputee Olympian, lasted 7 months and gained international attention a decade ago. Pistorius shot his girlfriend through a locked bathroom door, killing her on Valentine's Day of 2013. Pistorius was released on parole on Friday after serving more than 7 years of the 15-year prison sentence. A spokesperson for the Department of Correction Services says that the 37-year-old is at home and will be under parole supervision until 2029. SpaceX filed a lawsuit Thursday against a U.S. labor agency that had accused the company of unlawfully firing 8 employees who wrote a letter to executives critical of CEO Elon Musk. A complaint was filed earlier this week concerning SpaceX's actions following the employee's letter in June of 2022, saying the company violated federal labor laws. The employees had claimed Musk's social media post did not align with SpaceX's policies on diversity and workplace misconduct, calling Musk a distraction and embarrassment. They called on executives to condemn Musk's behavior. In response to the labor agency's complaint, SpaceX sued the labor agency, saying it is unconstitutionally structured and called their actions unlawful. Finally this morning, with Christmas and New Year's behind us, most stores have already turned their attention to February and Valentine's Day. One of the biggest candies for the holiday each year, conversation hearts. It's switching things up to target Gen Z consumers and their not fully defined relationships known as situationships. Spangler, the company behind the Sweethearts candies and their romantic phrases of love you and be mine, says it will be introducing a limited edition version of their heart-shaped treats that will have blurred, misprinted sayings that are, quote, as hard to read as Gen Z relationships. These situationship boxes will be available to buy on the Sweethearts website starting Monday. These are your top stories for this Friday. To find out more about the Morning Rundown, be sure to visit san.com/rundown. Unbiased, straight facts, that's Straight Arrow News. We'll see you back here on Monday. Until then, I'm Kara Rucker. Have a great weekend.